do it now.
Ah, very good. Okay, very
Great.
good. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining. So this topic is successful local service projects and fundraising. So what we'll do is go around and do just brief introductions of what district you are in, and if you could share with us where that is geographically and what your role is, and anything that you are interested in learning or what brought you to this session. So again, your name, your location, district number, location, your role, and what brought you here today. So I'll go ahead and get started. So again, Chris Miller, Youth Service Chair for 5170. District 5170 is in Silicon Valley in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I have been very involved with Interact in my district for 10 years now, with including local service projects and fundraising. And to be perfectly honest with you, this was, I said, just assign me anywhere, I can talk about anything, and I was sent here. So I'm happy that you are joining us. So I think just for expediency's sake, I'm just going to go ahead down the list of names. So be prepared, please, to share when I call you. I'm going to go down in what I have in my list of participants. So Renee.
You call my name Renee?
I did, yes. Please share.
You know, I'm sorry. It's funny, but I'm hearing sounds from all the breakout rooms, so it's a little.
Oh my! Oh no,
it's a little crazy. But I will tell you that we are a club that's being reenacted, reinstated due to COVID and some faculty changes. We're kind of energizing our club, but it's exciting because we've decided at our school to do a service club. We're like an umbrella of service clubs, and some of the other clubs are going to support our Interact club with the service side, so that we can involve all of our school. We have a smaller school of just 400 students. So that's where we're at right now, in a planning stage of doing something kind of exciting for all of our students, even kids outside of the Interact club. They'll be the ones organizing and planning.
Great, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Let's go with Judy.
My name is Judy Foote, and I'm from District 5180. And I didn't catch, Renee, where you're from.
I'm from Tukwila, Washington, right next to Boeing Field and Museum of Flight.
Thank you. I'm from Sacramento, California, and we're in the same boat. Pandemic has just didn't allow any of our Sacramento City schools to have any service clubs. They didn't want them working in the community in person at all, because if they got COVID, it would to the school and they would be representing the school or whatever, all those problems. I don't know. But so we're having to reinvent too. And I have to say, when we started about 13 years ago, we shared with Key Club, and because they were both service clubs, and they were both being sponsored by the same club advisor, and it worked out really well. And I'm sorry he stopped doing that. He wanted to go just with Interact instead of Key Club. So anyway, we'll see what happens, but I'm very anxious to see if other people have those ideas in their heads too about how to make that happen. And our community, our school is larger than yours, and I'm just anxious to see what service projects you do. We've been able to do baths with the fire department. We've been able to do things with nursing facilities, but I really like to hear our kids. We haven't done a polling to look for those kinds of things, and I think with virtual, it's probably easier to do. So we'll have to try that.
Well, could I interject, Judy? We're doing exactly that. We have Key Club and Interact, and that's the service umbrella. And I am advising both with another teacher. So together we're doing it, but it's getting so active. We're kind of having to separate as far as advisors go. But one of the cool things that we
Renee,
did was—
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I would love to have this conversation, but I also want to make sure that we introduced. So we'll definitely circle back around with looking at
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for your enthusiasm. Jody, go ahead.
Yes, so I'm with District 5020, Nanaimo, Vancouver Island. And I'm an advisor for the Interact Club and can't wait to hear some ideas.
Great, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Jen. You're on mute.
Boy, I wish that thing would just go off when you start talking.
I
They gotta
know,
develop
wouldn't
that.
it? That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm Jen Tenoy from D5000 District. I'm from the Rotary Club of Hilo. I served on the RILA, first virtual RILA for D5000 core team. And now I am the incoming new chair for our Rotary Club here in Hilo.
Great, thank you for joining us. Is it Andrea?
Yeah, I'm Andrea Ingram from Cranbrook, BC, the southeastern corner of BC. I'm just in the process of joining the Rotary here, 5080, and we're looking into setting up Interact Club in Cranbrook. Apparently there was one here a number of years ago, and so we're wanting to get that going again, and I'm looking forward to hearing lots of ideas from all of your Interact clubs, and thank you for having us here.
Great, thank you so much. Maxine.
So I'm from 5110 Eugene, Oregon, and I'm a new member of the Rotary Club, and I'm also starting the Interact Club at a high school. They had a club and it became defunct. So I'm here to learn.
Great, thank you. Thanks for being here. Jan. You're on mute or your audio's not. Well, we'll come back to you. Maybe you can work on the audio. If you need to, you can leave and I'll readmit you. So it's up to you. Carol.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carol Lee. I'm the New Generations Director for my Rotary Club of Woodinville, and it's District 5030. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Mike.
Yes, thank you. My name is Mike Behrens. I'm with the District 5330. I've been a Rotarian for about 12 years, and for 8 years of that, I was the district co-chair or the district chair for Interact. We, in that time, grew from 60 clubs to 102 clubs. The pandemic has reduced that now to about 75 clubs. We are Southern California, I forgot to mention, and we're in Riverside in San Bernardino counties. I was able to put together some Interact conferences and Interact assemblies, so that was really fun, but all of those things have come to a real halt. So I just thought I would sign in to hear. The youth protection, by the way, was an excellent presentation, simply because there was a lot of things new. So you might want to look for that if you're involved in Interact, and try and see that course. Maybe it's produced in a video. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Kurt. You're on mute as well.
There, I'm trying. There we go. I'm Kurt Gustafson, SeaTac Tukwila, Rotary member. I helped start the aviation club, or the Interact at Aviation High School some years ago. So Renee is my new best friend, about trying to bring the club back to life and do some good stuff. So thanks a lot for your help.
Great, thank you, Kurt, for being here. And let's go to Ravneet.
Good morning. I'm Ravneet Kaur, and I'm from the District 5230 here in Fresno, California. And I'm part the Interact Club. I've been part of the Interact Club for 4 years, and I'm one of the board members.
Great, thank you. And I know your audio is a little choppy, so you're welcome to turn off your camera if that is going to make it easier. But thank you for being here. And Jan, were you able to get your audio working? We hear no. Well, you know what you can do is go ahead and put in the chat where you are from. And then if you have any questions as we progress. So, okay, well, very good. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started with I'm going to explain my District 5170's kind of approach to both local service projects, fundraising, and then a little bit of international, although I know that there's another international session, so don't want to spend too much time on that. And that'll be just 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll open it up to conversation about what your clubs are doing. Definitely want to circle back with Interact and Kiwanis relationship and partnership. So let me go ahead and do a screen share. And again, this is this Interact 5170's web page that I'm going to share. So Interact 5170 has there are 2 projects that are attempted every year. There's an international project and a community project. So as it says here, each year Interact 5170 dedicates itself to one international and one community project. In order to raise money towards the international project, the 13 areas as well as individual Interact clubs hold fundraisers and other awareness events. The community project focuses on creating local service opportunities that revolve around the project's theme and incorporate some fundraising. So the international projects have been focusing on since 2008. Here you can see they're listed here on various topics, including Hydrate, focusing on water, and Polio Now, Shelter Box, Free the Youth, which was focusing on slave trade, youth trade. Literacy, the answer is the Sun, Home Sweet Home, and so a number of different creative projects. And then at the community level, at a local level, there was focusing on hunger relief about 10 years ago, Go Greens, looking at environment, Save Our Schools, which was focusing on trying to fundraise for some budget issues in schools in California, and some of the extra stuff that like music and art, and Hearts, Open Hearts, Open Arms, Wonder One Roof, which look at homelessness. And so I am going to show a video every year. The district council, and this was student produced by the district publications or digital media team. And so this year's project is Combating with Care. So this is a few-minute video that talks about the community project. So let's go ahead and play this.
Filled with faces, every tear a window to the soul, like silent unsung symphonies, wild and wonderful mysteries, masterpieces I will never know. 'Cause everybody's looking for some light. Everybody's looking for
When I emancipated from the foster care system, I didn't have anywhere to go, and I was really stressing out because you know, a lot of people in foster care, they end up, you know, homeless in shelters. Actually, 65% of foster youth in the United States either end up in shelters, homeless, in jail, or dead by the time they emancipate out of the system. And I wanted to fight against that statistic. So I reached out to the Family Resource Center and looked for options that were available to me. And that's how I got connected with Freddie Molina from SparkPoint. And he became my financial coach to help me pursue my financial goals.
Oh, and when the world is weighing on your shoulder, when the sorrow's heavy on your soul, carry on and sing it like a soldier, saying, come on, we're gonna make it home, 'cause everybody's looking for some light. You know, everybody's looking for some light. So come on, 'cause everybody's looking for some light. And darkness blurs the vision, like a veil before our eyes, and love alone is able to divide. Oh, you know, everybody's looking for some light. You know, everybody's looking for some light. So come on, sing it like a soldier. Come on, you know it ain't over. Everybody's looking for some light. So come on, sing it like a soldier. Come on, you know it ain't over. Everybody's looking for some light. You know, everybody's looking for some light. You know, everybody's looking for.
So that was, again, something that was produced, student produced. And every year, although this year has been challenging, but in our fall leadership conference, there have been videos that have shown with both the international and community project. And one of the things that people really like about the, or students really like, you know, there's something energizing with, you know, 3,000 to 4,000, you know, young people, middle school and high school students in this gym that, you know, after they see the video and then there's a challenge and, you know, are you up for that challenge? So thank you, Mike, for the question about the Interact video contest. No, I know that is something that I have forwarded on to our Interact team. And I thank you for the reminder. I will do that again because I know that there's definitely some, you know, opportunities there at the international level. I would like to open it up for, you know, conversation, either questions about, you know, what my district does, or, you know, questions about what your, or comments, you know, feedback of what your district is doing related to service projects and fundraising. I will say, I think the biggest success for our district has been partnering with local organizations like United Way Bay Area. And that way it allows for Rotarians and even non-Rotarians to know that, you know, their money is going towards, you know, an effort that is well respected and reputable, right? It's not, you know, going for some organization where, you know, who knows if, you know, 50% of their monies are going to administrative costs, right? And so that's been something really successful. But with that, I'm gonna, you know, open it up and, you know, we can have this you know, kind of a broader conversation. Just make sure to unmute yourself when you'd like to talk.
What is the age range? Was that video made by the actual students and what age range?
Though that video was created by two students, one's a high school senior and one's a high school junior. So they are the digital marketing team. Mike has asked how many clubs. So in District 5170, there's 107 Interact clubs. And interestingly enough, 104 of those are school-based clubs. So the vast majority are school-based clubs. One of the things that, and there was a lot of time focused on our last session on this, and I, especially in California, there are, and I've spent a huge amount of time, looking into this. The school districts, one of our biggest challenges has been working with schools and school districts in terms of fundraising on campuses, because there's very, very tight regulations. Now I know, most states, if not all, have ASB, Associated Student Body, or student government, that regulates, clubs. School-based clubs are, generally speaking, under the jurisdiction of the school. And in fact, in the Interact bylaws, it says something to the effect of, if school regulations are tighter than Rotary regulations, then the club needs to abide by school regulations. I do want to circle back briefly around, one of the things that I know there's been, and this has been something that I've been involved in, there was a conversation about, Interact and Kiwanis. And at one point, one of the clubs in our district called it Inner Key. And I'm like, no. As much as I love the idea, you cannot do that. Rotary has spent huge amounts of money, in my mind, a timely amount of money, but anyway, that's another discussion for another time, in terms of marketing and in terms of branding. If you're going to have an Interact and Kiwanis relationship or Key Club relationship, it's fine, but it needs to be marketed as, Interact Club, Kiwanis Club, or a Key Club, right? That is not kosher to, combine the two and make an Inner Key. So I wanted to put that out there. But anyway, there's someone in the waiting room, so I need to admit them. Can someone else share or talk about, what brought you to the session, or what you would like to talk about in our remaining 20 minutes?
I have a question for the group. We support our 100+ Interact clubs. We also have Early Act clubs. Does anyone else have the early Act clubs, which are not Rotary sanctioned, but they are offered to ages 5 through 11?
Wow. How do you tell us more about that group?
I could do that. Early Act, like I said, it's not sanctioned by Rotary International, but there are several hundred clubs in the United States. If you just Google Early Act, which is just one word, in the logo the A is capitalized, but if you look at that, it's a feeder to our Interact clubs. Basically, it's all school-based. The ones that we do, we have a district chair, of course, that organizes I think we have 14 of them in our district, so it's very small. But the hopes are to follow all of the Rotary guidelines. We use their actual trademark logo. It was started by a club back in, I believe it was Massachusetts, but it's a growing movement, so that Rotary, at someday, I hope that they actually sanction it like they do with Interact and Rotaract. But it's a very good way to get into the elementary school, those ages 5 through 11, before they get thrown into middle school, where we can have them as Interact clubs. So just basically Google it, and you'll find that it's structured just like an Interact club. So it's very good. Thank you. I guess Chris, oh, there's Chris.
I'm here. So interestingly enough, and again, not to get too far afield on this, but I've been doing a lot of work around trying to understand some of these programs at the elementary level. And my district actually attempted to put a resolution forward for the council and legislation that would lower the Interact age from current age 12 to age 5. And unfortunately, not enough clubs understood the concept. And a lot of this goes back to branding, to be honest with you. According to Brad Howard, who was our previous Zone 26, I think, representative, he really had strong concerns about creating all of these different early programs. So there's Early Act, there's also Kid Act, and there's maybe 3 or 4 of them. And so there was a concern about trying to keep the branding of Rotary if Early Act and Kid Act and Youth Act was another one are implemented. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't want to go down that path at this moment in time, just because that's not what the session is about. But thank you for bringing that up, Mike.
No problem.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of it. So thank you, Mike, for bringing that up. I had a question for Chris on the video.
Yes.
For phase 2, where they're talking about resume help and getting jobs for the people they're helping, who would actually be doing that? Because interactors would probably be more a support end.
Right. So, and thank you, Carol. That's a great question. And that really goes back to, the partnership with United Way Bay Area. And so it was really more in terms of promoting some of the fundraising because if you remember the video, there was both a fundraising goal and a community service goal, right? And so part of the some of the things that would be, not possible or not feasible for the interactors to do themselves, would be through the monetary donation and then having the larger organization that has institutional support. I will say, and this is where, so we've had lots of success in 5170 in developing these, what are called yearly themes, right? And then the yearly theme benefits an organization in the community, which I really like the idea of, really keeping it in the community. The one area, and this has been something that I've really been working with our Interact team in trying to look at, in some ways, and I have to be careful my words here, but I think in some ways it's a Band-Aid approach, and I think, how can we get our young people to really look at it from a broader perspective and say, okay, what is indeed actually causing the poverty issues, the wealth, the gap? I mean, the Silicon Valley is probably one of, if the not most, disparity between the have and have-nots. And so what are those things causing that, and trying to get at the root issues? And that would be my biggest critique, of and challenge of, the way that we have structured our community projects and fundraising is, okay, and by no means am I disrespecting, the work and the effort of the high schoolers, but I wonder if we're really just contributing to, putting Band-Aids on instead of really looking at it, trying to heal the wound, so to speak, itself and prevent the wound. So Jan mentioned one resource, volunteers are through the food bank and community service or county services. So yes, it's another area, strongly suggest. A few years back, I know, 5170 partnered with Second Harvest Food Bank, which is a, food bank distributor. And so that's another area, but I would really encourage you, to look at what are those community resources that are out there. I personally am not a big fan of, there's so much need out there already. Let's identify, who's doing what and how we can partner with them. Other thoughts?
Chris, in our district, or we call it in my club a tri-club Rotary family, with my Rotary Club of Woodinville, the North Shore Rotaract Club, which is sponsored by Woodinville Rotary and it's community-based. We broke away from a university-based club this year, actually. And then we have the community-based North Shore Interact Club that is also community-based, representing 5 high schools in our school district. So we're all community-based service clubs. One of our focuses has been the COVID relief response. So all 3 clubs have been involved in that with, grants from our district, and then food drives, continual food drives. So our Interact Club, along with those drives, has done some virtual events that have been very successful. For example, we did virtual craft times, and then we had elementary school kids jump on. We ordered and delivered supplies to their home, and they zoomed in from their home location. And it has been successful because these younger kids are very isolated, and if anything, are missing the playtimes with their fellow friends and such. So it really has helped bring that age group in to our fold here and address the stress and relieve stress for some of our younger ones in the community.
Great point. Thank you, Carol. Other thoughts or other things that you all are doing or would like to learn more about from each other?
Hate to keep bringing up Ryla, but anyway, we had them do presentations. Sorry, my voice, I'll talk later, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, my voicemail, I'm screening calls. Anyway, the kids themselves, the Ryla students, came out with these subject matters, topics, cancel culture, climate change, creative art boxes, creative music sessions. And, they're really wanting this time to bond and be able to brainstorm. And I don't know if we're taking advantage of this because this is their future, So in the fundraising part is for specifically organizations, or is it for them to be able to do things within their club? That's what I wanted to try to clarify too. To cover costs for their activities, or, is this fundraising to actually give to a charitable organization that we're talking about in the community?
I know for 5170, it's kind of both. There is, component of fundraising for the organization, but also community actual service. I'll give you an example of something that happened just in the last 2 weeks that, and I'm sure some of you may have heard about these, fundraisers where, you go and contribute to a local restaurant, and then they will give back 15%, of the proceeds to the organization. And so that's been something that our, my Interact Club, sponsored by my Rotary Club, focused on with a couple of other neighboring Interact clubs, and trying to, especially with some of the challenges with restaurants having been closed down, for quite some time in terms of in-person dining. So it's a combination of both. I will say, and this has been something that we have really struggled with. I don't know how many other California districts have struggled with this, but the regulations in terms of donations has been really challenging. I'm constantly trying to educate some of the fiscal people at school districts about that it is possible to donate to an outside organization. And so that's been a challenge in our area. But again, I don't, any other thoughts of challenges of fundraising or, successes? Go ahead, Mike.
If I could, we used to, up until the last 3 years, we used to do all kinds of fundraisers with the Interact clubs. All of a sudden they stopped car washes, of course. But, we would do other things in the communities, or if some of the organizations that we provided community service for, like one example would be our historical society, our kids would volunteer for their different events, and in hand, somebody would want to make a donation to the Interact Club. Anything that went in as a, a collection would be handed out to different organizations. One of them was in Africa, and we would buy goats and pigs and chickens and things like that. However, in the last couple of years, and other people in California may have experienced all that too, but all of a sudden, all volunteer efforts that were collecting any money had to go into the student body, ASB, and it kind of stopped all of the collections for donations to other organizations because it became too involved. And also the other thing that I kind of had a question on is if anybody was having any problems with insurance when they go to community-based clubs. There is a disadvantage there because if it's school-based and you have to follow the rules, at least you have the benefit of having the events insured by the school districts. But a community-based club, they would have to come up with their own insurance if they had any outside things to do.
That's interesting, Mike, because at least for our we've been using the Rotary's insurance. Interact is covered under Rotary's group insurance policy. So for our 3 community clubs, we haven't had that as an issue because they're already covered under Rotary's policy.
Thank you.
Jody, do you have anything?
I was just going to say that District 5020 also, we're under the district's insurance. And it's just a matter of phoning and yeah, you get the paper.
Good point. In the chat, Jan mentioned about the, having 2 Rotarians there, which I think is, best practice, not just for youth protection, but also for, making sure and showing support, right, for efforts that, yeah, to make sure that there is that liability coverage there. Anything else that people want to contribute or ask?
Chris, we just started, we have an environmental sustainability committee in my Rotary Club,
Right.
and we have several interactors that are very much interested in that. So with the spring, first day of spring today, we've launched a couple projects out in the farm outside. So we had our first work party today at 21 Acres, which is a farm, environmental farm near us. And they had 6 volunteers. We're starting a Rotary garden there, and interactors are very much a part of it, where we're going to plant and harvest and then donate to the community members in need, fresh produce. So that's pretty exciting. It's something that gets them outdoors, which is safer, I think, with all going on. And the students are very interested in that project. So just another idea of how to get out there and serve together and safely.
That's very cool. Thank you for sharing. Unique idea. Oh, we've got another about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to close the breakout rooms. I am the host of this, so I kind of feel like I have power to tell people to, be quiet or move them to other rooms. All joking aside, I've really enjoyed, our conversation, and I know it can be awkward at times on Zoom, but I would encourage you to, this is being recorded, so it was something that you can come back and look at if you wanted to also even look at the first session on this topic. So thank you, Jan, for letting me know. I will send that to her.
I would be interested in anybody has smaller groups, not as organized as a big district organization that has success with fundraising. I think that that's a challenge for us if we're doing that independently and with a school with lots of rules. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thoughts?
I know I'm from a Title I school, so most of our kids do not even have what they need to survive. And so it's awfully hard to, you know, fundraise. Instead, what I've done, so for example, I try to do inexpensive fun ways for them to contribute. So we did a, oh boy, now I can't think of it. Flip-flops. We did a flip-flop drive because they could go buy flip-flops. And there was a church in our community that was headed to India. And so we sent 150 flip-flops to India by sending it with the church when they were doing their youth trip. And that was just connecting to someone else. But really, my kids have nothing. I really struggled to do a canned food drive. Instead, I'd rather have us go work at the food bank, you know? So I try instead to have them see what's out in the community and be out in the community, because for us to collect a single dime from these kids is really difficult, because I've got 27 homeless kids living out of cars. I've got kids living in hotels. You know, I'm not going to ask their families to give financially. So, but the fact that the kids have a heart to want to do for others when they themselves are in really peril need, it just amazes me.
Lorna, do you ever use the express grants through the district?
I'd never heard of the express grants through the district.
Well, I'm not sure if all districts do this, but our District 5030, you can apply if you have a community service project. You can apply for a grant.
Okay, how does it work, or what's a little information about it? What's the?
You know, one thing that I might suggest, if you want to go onto the District 5030 website, then you can look for express grants and just kind of see how they have it set up, and then go back to your district website, perhaps.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll look into that.
Good luck with that. Judy, I hope that you got my message on chat. Oh, okay. Good.
Chris, I'm getting a 21 second countdown. Do we
That is
leave
correct. Yes. So you can either ignore it and it'll force you back, or you can leave. It's up to you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for participating.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Chris, for hosting.
Thank you.
Physically walk from one room to the other, and then we have those sidebar chats with each other in the hallway and meet new friends that way. That's the part I miss on these conferences is the walking from room to room and meeting new people.
And sometimes seeing familiar faces.
On that too, exactly, exactly.
You just have to go from page to page and look at people and chat
look at
with them.
people. Well, that's true. That is true.
You
So
can do a
hopefully,
group chat.
I can see Shab. How are you, sir?
Shab's not wearing his hat today, is he?
Yeah, no, he's got it on.
Okay, let me. I'm on.
Okay.
There he is.
Okay. It looks like so far we may have lost a few people. They didn't want to come to the closing remarks. I am going to paste once more the YouTube video with the previous conferences on it. And I'm not sure how long it will be before what we've recorded today will get on there, but it will get on there hopefully within 2 weeks, right, Art? Sometimes some of us take a little longer to get the stuff to the fella that does all this for us.
Yes, well, we get that on as soon as possible.
Yeah. So I want to thank everyone for attending. I hope that you're all leaving with something new, with some newfound excitement about Interact that you can share in your clubs and within your district. There was something else I wanted to say, but it's gone. Anyway, I did want to tell you all that in 2 months, on June 5th, we will be having a virtual conference on youth exchange. So I hope that, I know many of you, I see some faces that I know are involved in youth exchange. I hope to see you back. And if you're not involved in youth exchange, please pass on this to your district that on June 5th, the Zone Task Force is having a virtual conference on youth exchange, and to watch for the announcement and the information on that. Then in August or September, we will be doing another conference on youth protection. And as you know, youth protection is changing, it's growing. We all need to be doing this to keep not only our youth protected, but also our Rotarians protected. So I'm going to let you out of class early since it's the first day of spring. Go out and enjoy that first day of spring. And again, thank you ever so much all for attending. Thanks.
Can I just add on for a second, Lorraine? One of the things that we really hope to do in the future, we've been primarily connecting adult leaders here of these programs, but one of the conferences down the road, we hope to be able to sponsor, which would connect the youth leaders themselves, young people. Right. And so just to let you know, that's part of our aspirations as a Rotary Youth Services Task Force.
That'd be great.
All righty, folks.
Thank you, everyone.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Lorraine, I just would like to add that we do have a youth exchange with us right now from England.
Excellent, yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm Kanita. I'm from District 3281.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Thank you, Kanita, for joining at these late hours.
Shireen, I will talk to you. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Bobby. Yeah. I sent my numbers to your checkbox. Can you just check?
I got it. I'm gonna put it on a paper so I don't lose it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
it's great to get connected. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Welcome back to Bangladesh one day. Yeah.
I plan to. I met so many wonderful people there. So I'm so glad to see you.
Yeah.
Take care. I'll talk to you on WhatsApp.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having us here. Yeah, usually 3 of us here. I can see another past president, Shabuni, was here also, together with Kanita. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent.
It's our pleasure.
Oh, okay, good. How fun.
That's the beauty of global connection.
Hey, Art, are we reviewing this on Monday?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it that far. Do we have a committee meeting on Monday?
I don't think we do. And I know that on Monday,
I've got something on zone. What is that?
Monday is the Zone Institute for 2022 planning.
And what about Tuesday?
Tuesday is the Communities of Practice meeting.
So we don't have a review of this.
We will have a review at our April meeting.
Okay. So that's on the 12th.
That is correct.
Okay.
After Art and I turn 40.
That's right.
Great program, by the way, today.
This came off really well.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Went well.
I had some good comments in our session.
Before I head out, I just wanted to thank everyone for the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you
Oh,
so much,
Walker,
Walker.
thank you.
Thank you.
You were a
You were
star.
mentioned in
You
our
have
breakout
done
room.
a lot for me.
I was mentioned cross breakout room.
Yeah, I enjoyed your session very much, Walker.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the meeting unless anyone
Yeah.
else has anything important to say.
No.
No,
You should
okay.
cut this part of the video off when we post it.
Yeah, Mike will do that. Mike has been great. Mike M has been great at getting those done. So
Thank you. I'm
okay,
glad I
thanks
could make
everyone.
this one.
Have a great weekend.
You too.